Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're plunging into a really big one, a book that's shaken at personal finance for decades, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you think you know how money works, well, prepare to have some of those ideas maybe wonderfully challenged. Because right at its core, this book throws out a really provocative, almost rebellious idea. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. We're going to unpack what that really means and why it's such a game changer. Kiyosaki himself, he grew up with these two incredibly different father figures. There was his poor dad, his actual father, highly educated, traditional, all about job security. And then there was rich dad, his friend's father, who was a savvy, financially smart entrepreneur. That whole setup, that's the lens he used to look at, money.
And that duality, yeah, that fundamental contrast in how they saw things, that's exactly what makes this deep dive so interesting, I think. Our mission really is to pull out the surprising, often kind of counterintuitive financial wisdom Kiyosaki lays out, to give you a direct path to understanding that crucial difference between, let's say, financial literacy and just traditional academic success. We want to guide you through the sort of mental shifts the book pushes for, and maybe more importantly, show you how these insights can be practically applied, in your own financial life.
Okay, so Kiyosaki kicks things off by confronting something a lot of us feel, the rat race. He describes it as this relentless cycle. Most people work hard, they earn, they spend, and then they're just waiting for the next paycheck. It feels like a trap for so many. And he kind of boils it down with this powerful quote. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. What's your immediate take on that as a way to break the cycle?
My first thought is just how much Kiyosaki flips the script on, well, what most of us are taught. Breaking free from that rat race, it isn't mainly about getting a bigger salary. It's fundamentally about your financial intelligence. Think about poor dad. Highly educated, good intentions, definitely, but always struggling with money stress. Rich dad, though. He focused relentlessly on understanding how money actually works, how you generate it, how you grow it, and crucially, how you protect it. It really highlights a basic truth, I think. Our schools, they're generally set up to make us good employees, but they rarely teach us how to be savvy entrepreneurs or investors. It just underscores this urgent need for self-education in what he calls the financial game.
Right. And that idea of keeping more money, it leads us straight into maybe the most pivotal concept in the whole book, understanding assets versus liabilities. Kiyosaki states it so simply, it's almost, well, profound. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. When I first read that, especially about owning a home, something we're all told is like the ultimate goal, it genuinely made me rethink a lot of that conventional wisdom. Most people see their house as their biggest asset, but rich dad often sees it as a liability, right? Unless it's actually bringing in rent. Because if you're paying the mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, well, that's money constantly going out of your pocket.
Exactly. And if we zoom out a bit, Kiyosaki defines real assets as things that quite literally feed your bank account. We're talking rental properties bringing in cash flow, maybe stocks and bonds, paying dividends or interest, royalties from intellectual property like books or music maybe, or even businesses that kind of run themselves and make profit without you being there constantly. The core lesson here is, honestly, transformative. The financially savvy focus on buying assets. While the poor and middle class, they often end up acquiring liabilities they think are assets. It makes you pause, doesn't it? And think about your own stuff. Does it bring money in or does it consistently take it out?
That makes total sense. And from there, Kiyosaki takes us to this idea of minding your own business. The principle he lays out is that, yeah, your career provides income, but the real goal, that's building your own asset column on the side. He draws this really sharp line between your profession and your business. Your job pays the bills, but your business, that's what builds real long-term wealth.
Which brings up a really practical question, okay? How do you actually do that? And the book gives some pretty good real-world examples. Like, if you're a teacher, maybe your business is creating online courses or writing specialized books that earn royalties. Or maybe you're a software developer. Your real business might be building an app or like a SaaS product, software as a service, something that solves a problem and brings in recurring revenue. The key takeaway is keep your day job for stability, sure, but at the same time, actively build those assets. That is your true business.
Right. And this idea of minding your own business, of actively building wealth, it brings us to a concept that often surprises people. The rich invent money. It almost sounds like, magic when you first hear it. Kiyosaki says it's about a complete mindset shift. Rich people don't say, I can't afford it. Instead, they ask, how can I afford it? He points out that the opportunities are, everywhere, but it's financial knowledge and confidence that let you really see them and act. But what does inventing money really mean in practice? Is it more than just asking, how can I afford it? Is it finding loopholes? Or is it something more fundamental about creating value?
Yeah, that's a great question because inventing money isn't about pulling it out of thin air or finding some secret trick. It's fundamentally about seeing problems as chances for innovation and leveraging your knowledge to create value where maybe none obviously existed before. It means developing that ability to spot an unmet need somewhere in the market, then crafting a solution. And this is key, structuring that solution so it generates passive income. Think about someone who sees a gap in, say, digital education. They create a scalable online course once and then earn from it for years. Or maybe a developer builds a platform connecting buyers and sellers, taking a small cut. It's about being prepared, being knowledgeable, and building skills like taking calculated risks, solving problems creatively, spotting trends, things others might miss because they aren't looking through that financial lens. So the powerful lesson is be bold, be creative, and actively train your financial brain to create opportunities, not just wait for them.
That's a really crucial distinction. Okay, another powerful lesson Kiyosaki really hammers home is to work, to learn, not to earn. He talks about how he didn't just take jobs for the paycheck. He deliberately chose roles to pick up valuable skills, things like sales, marketing, leadership, investing. He's actually pretty critical of that common tendency to just chase the next promotion without ever really learning about, say, taxes or how investing works, or even just how to manage a team well.
It definitely pushes for a broader, more strategic view of your career, doesn't it? Like an accountant could look beyond just balancing the books. They could proactively learn how businesses strategically use accounting to save big on taxes or boost profits. The core lesson here is super clear. Getting diverse, sort of interdisciplinary skills, not just specializing super narrowly, that really accelerates your financial growth in the long run. It's about building a versatile toolkit, really.
And speaking of mindsets, Kiyosaki tackles a major barrier for, well, probably most of us: fear. Fear of losing money, fear of failing, or even just that nagging feeling of not being good enough. It's a powerful obstacle. He contrasts Rich Dad's view that losing is part of winning, it's a learning chance, with Poor Dad's much more cautious, be safe, don't take risks approach. I know for me personally, that fear of failure, it's often been a huge hurdle.
That's such a relatable point. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, Kiyosaki really suggests that playing it too safe, well, that can actually be the riskiest strategy of all. It can lead to mediocrity. Entrepreneurial growth, he argues, almost always comes from learning really valuable lessons from those setbacks, those failures. So the lesson here is crucial. Don't let fear paralyze you. Instead, focus on learning how to manage risk effectively. Don't just try to avoid it completely. It's about building that financial courage.
Okay, here's a really clever insight, one that often surprises people, and it's about taxes and the power of corporations. Kiyosaki reveals how the rich often use legal structures like corporations to significantly cut their tax burden. It's a fascinating contrast, right?
Yeah.
Employees earn money, then they pay taxes on it. But corporations, they spend on legitimate business stuff, and then they get taxed on what's left over. Now, this sounds powerful, but for our listeners, many are employees. Is this truly an accessible strategy, or are there, significant complexities, costs involved in setting up and running a corporation that maybe Kiyosaki simplifies a bit?
That's a really vital point to bring up because, yes, while the principle itself is sound, the practical side is definitely nuanced. This structure does give distinct advantages to the wealthy, no doubt. They can deduct expenses before paying tax. They can protect their personal wealth. They can foster faster growth by reinvesting those pre-tax earnings. However, setting up and maintaining a corporation does involve administrative hassle, legal fees, ongoing accounting costs. It's not insignificant. So, no, it's not some magic shortcut for absolutely everyone, especially if you're not generating substantial income through it yet. But the fundamental lesson, it still holds true. Learn how the system actually works instead of just complaining about it. The rules really do favor the financially educated, those who understand these structures. And even if a full corporation isn't right for you now, just understanding how it works can inform future choices or even how you manage your personal finances better.
That added context is super helpful, thanks. Okay, now for a piece of advice that might sound completely backwards, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, pay yourself first. Kiyosaki's Rich Dad advised doing this even before paying bills or taxes. And it's important to clarify, right? This isn't about being irresponsible or dodging your obligations. It's meant as a disciplined way to build wealth. But for many people, just finding that initial cash to pay yourself first before all those bills hit, it can feel impossible. Does Kiyosaki really address the practical challenge there? Or is it purely about shifting your mindset?
It's primarily a mindset shift, yeah, but one that forces ingenuity. What's fascinating is that this practice, it actually kind of compels you to find creative solutions to meet your other obligations. It's a powerful psychological trick, really. By prioritizing saving and investing over immediate spending, you basically train your brain to figure out how to make ends meet after you've already secured a piece for your future. It's about making saving and investing a non-negotiable habit, like a fixed cost in your budget. Not just an afterthought, something you do if there happens to be money left over. It really shifts your financial priorities fundamentally.
That makes sense. Okay, another superpower Kiyosaki highlights, no matter what field you're in, is learning to sell. Whether it's products, ideas, or even selling yourself, in a way. He contrasts Poor Dad's belief in sort of hiding behind degrees and formal qualifications, with Rich Dad's strong emphasis on influence in communication. For many of us, though, the idea of selling can feel a bit, uncomfortable, maybe even sleazy. Why is it so crucial?
You're right. The word selling can definitely carry some negative baggage for people, but Kiyosaki really redefines it. And this brings up an important question about how we view essential skills, doesn't it? Sales skills are absolutely crucial in so many situations, way beyond just closing a traditional deal. Think about pitching an innovative idea to your team or your boss, or negotiating a better salary, or a business deal, even raising money for a project or a startup. Fundamentally, it's about clear communication. It's about understanding what people need and articulating value effectively. The profound lesson Kiyosaki really drives home is actively invest in skills like public speaking, persuasion, marketing. He argues they'll give you lifelong returns no matter what job you have because you're always, in some way, selling something, an idea, a solution, yourself.
All right, our final thought from this deep dive really puts things into perspective. Robert Kiyosaki started his financial education at age 9, which is incredibly young, and it definitely highlights the power of starting early with these lessons. But he's also really quick to reassure you, the listener, that it's truly never too early or too late to start building wealth, no matter what age you are right now.
Absolutely. Even if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, you can start today. Just by, say, picking up some financial books, committing to investing even a small amount each month regularly, or starting to build that side business, maybe a digital income stream. The profound lesson here is that time, maybe more than anything else, is your greatest financial asset. So use it wisely. Start right now to build the financial future you actually want.
So to wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, look, it's absolutely not a get-rich-quick scheme. Not at all. At its core, it's really about a fundamental mindset shift. It challenges so much of the conventional wisdom about money, education, and work. And that central principle, the one we keep coming back to, is this. Don't work for money. Learn how to make money work for you.
Exactly. And whether you're a student just starting out or an employee figuring out your career or maybe an entrepreneur building something new, this book offers some really powerful mental tools. It can help you break free from those perceived financial limits and genuinely take control of your financial future. So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the rich really do invent money through knowledge and mindset, what small, maybe unconventional financial question could you ask yourself today? Something that might just open up entirely new opportunities for you.